Hello class, welcome to Unit 2.2b, Solving Equations with Word Problems, Part 2. Okay, let's review a few of these requirements for word problems. First thing, and most importantly, is going to be defining your variable. Once we get that variable defined, we're also looking at writing an equation. And then, of course, we want to solve our work and make sure we're answering the correct answer. Now, again, we kind of looked at a few things of types of word problems, and some of them are just straightforward. You just look at the words and it tells you what's going on. Other ones will take a form, typically of this rate, where the total should equal your rate times time plus your initial. So let's take a look. Example 1. Each household in the United States receives about 676 pieces of junk mail per year. Since there are 52 weeks in a year, how many pieces are received each week? Let J represent the pieces of junk mail received each week. Well, this one here is nice enough to tell us what to define our variable as. So let's take a minute to jot that down and say J is junk mail per week. And then, what else do we need to find to solve our equation? Well, looks like we're going to have about 676 for the year. And keep in mind that there are 52 weeks in a year. So if we're trying to find it per week, which is what the question is asking us, well, 52J, right? So we got 52 weeks. And we're having the junk per each week, well, and we're looking at 676 for the year. So that's multiply. So we divide using those inverse operations. And how much is 676 divided by 52? 13. So that means we are getting 13 pieces of junk mail per week. Alright, next one. Example 2 is a little bit more straightforward. 5 more than 4 times a number is 49. Well, in this case, defining our variable is just n is equal to a number. And how are we going to set this up? If we're looking at 5 more, that's going to imply addition. But we're doing more than 4 times a number. So the first thing we need to do is 4n. 5 more than that is plus 5. If we're looking at the word is, that is the same as your equal sign. So that should be equals 49. Alright, now that we got our equation and variable defined, use your inverse operations to solve. So first thing to do is subtract 5. That's multiply, so we divide. 44 divided by 4 is n equals 11, and since this is just n is a number, we're done. Aaliyah had some candy to give to her 4 children. She first took 10 pieces for herself and then evenly divided the rest among her children. Each child received 2 pieces. With how many pieces did she start? Well, if we're looking for our variable, we are looking for how many pieces did she start with. So I would just start with P is equal to the pieces. And this problem we're talking about pieces of candy. And then when we go to break down this equation, well, what are we looking for? We gave it to 4 children. She first took 10 pieces for herself and then evenly divided the rest among her children. And then each child received 2 pieces. Well, we're going to have to read this one carefully because it is saying when she says she first took 10 pieces. So if we're starting with P, she is going to take 10 right from the get-go. After that, this is where she is evenly. Okay, we're looking for that evenly split to her children. Well, how many children did she have? She had that 4. So we are splitting this whole thing, and this is where it's going to be important that we are dividing that whole p minus 10 divided by 4. And then that's just going to tell us that everybody got 2. Well, if we're going to kind of work backwards now using our inverse operations, that should be a times 4. Let's fix that. Times 4 times 4, cancel. P minus 10 is equal to 8. And then if we do our inverse of subtraction, we are adding. P equals 18. So this is going to tell us that we started with 18 pieces of candy. Alright, that's it. Okay, take a look at the practice 2.2b word problems. Practice them before you move on and check in your work. Good luck.